All right. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Blyson here. So, real quick. So I just want to go straight into the point of this whole video. It's going to be roughly 10 to 20 minutes long. Really don't know yet. I'm just kind of going off the whim here. But I just want to address a few things. I've been getting a lot of messages from Discord, people in my stream. And then I've been looking at a lot of Twitch streams, a lot of YouTube streams, and overall looking at the lower end of the WoW community that doesn't get a lot of looking at. I mean, everyone's playing Final Fantasy. There's just no real help at looking at these lower end guilds who are, you know, in the back end of US 400, US 500, that range. And a lot of mistakes are being made by the raid leaders and GMs by not doing their own research. So right now, I have the biggest culprit right here. This is Stanky Gaming. He made I would say, decently pretty good guide. However, is very misleading. And a point I'm trying to get to is there's a lot of raid leaders out here that will watch this video and they'll be like, this is the strat we're using. They'll just instantly say, this is it. Everyone else shut up. This is what we're using. No officer, no one can question it. Now, the problem is with these video is it's not simple for the brain to understand and simple for a raid team to understand. As you can already see from this first image we're looking at, markers are all over the place. They're not in common spots. They're not in spots that are organized around the room, how it's positioned. And it's not, the markers aren't in spots that are made with the environmental design. And to a lot of raiders who really don't play the game very much, or they only raid log, or they're newer to World of Warcraft, a lot of time markers all over the room are very confusing, right? That's already issue one with this strat. On top of this strat, what's also wrong with it is you will have arrows exploding. You have arrows exploding closer to the raid, right? You have arrows exploding very close to the raid team because of the way you are baiting the arrows and running out the arrows and the way you are making her land. So right here, as you can tell from this very first initial Vel hit, their tank here very close to the middle of the room here. And it's off-centered, which makes it really confusing for the players when they have to run out for their wailing area. You have to bait the sentinels coming in. And it's closer to the room, which means your raid team's closer, which means you end up taking more wailing arrow damage, right? Which causes a little bit of issues. So, just to give you some feedback why I'm making this video, my guild previously, while I was gone and away on medical leave, this guild, my guild had wiped over 100 times before me arriving. So when I arrived, I sat back I didn't take anyone's spot. I sat back from Discord and I red led from Discord. And I instantly saw some major issues with the strategy. People were getting hit by Vel. There was lots of panic. A lot of things were going wrong. It wasn't very clean. It was kind of like in this video where it's just a mess. So at this point, I knew something was wrong. And then I removed two of the officers that refused to change it. So I removed both of them. And I pretty much reorganized my raid once I removed those two officers. And I came up with a whole new strategy for it. I'm going to be showing it live here on stream. I mean, live here on this video. So you guys can see the strat. I'll also be putting the link to the guide that I made down below. So you guys can go through the entire PowerPoint as you wish, okay? So generally what I just want to get out for you raid leaders out there and you guild masters or whether you raid lead from Discord, please take time to watch more than one YouTube video. Don't sit here, you first got on Mythic Sylvanas, you just killed KT, and you look at Stanky's video, and you tell your whole raid team, we're using Stanky's video. Please don't do that. Please look at his composition. Look at your composition and ask yourself, can this work? Do we have enough movement speed? Do we have what we need to even make this guy's video work? Don't just instantly jump in and use some guy's guide, please. Do some research yourself. Thank you. Because you are going to help so many people not disband if you just do some research on your own. All right, let's jump right into it, right? Here we go. So let me give a quick example, okay? So right off the bat, instantly, we're using the geometry of the room, the environmental design. Instead of markers all over the place like in Stanky's guide, no, we're using the environmental design to make it easier for raiders to understand. So instantly, you know you have Veil and Und and Wailing Arrow markers in pretty much the spears of the room. As you can see, each spear, like on Skull, Diamond, Square, and over there on Orange, those are kind of like prongs going into the room. Easy to understand. If you forget a marker or where you're going, it's easy to understand. Here's a quick guide of the healer cooldowns. If you want to see it live in action, I'll be posting the the actual video of our kill down below, and I'll also be linking our guild promotion video if you guys want to watch that as well. It's kind of like a hype video of our kill. So Val 1, alright? I do it step by step. A lot of times, raiders, it's easier, especially I know what it is for me and a lot of other raiders, it's easier if you give it step by step basis with pictures involved. A lot of people, they're either, a lot of you know this just from your teachers, people are visual learners, and some people are physical learners where they have to do the actual encounter to learn it, right? And then some people are learners where they learn it better by reading the dungeon journal or reading the text of the encounter, okay? So that's why we have text here. So just learn from every single one of your raiders. If you're a raid leader, learn from every single one of them and figure out what your raid team is best. If you have a lot of visual learners, or if you have a lot of physical learners, pull the boss a lot, have a base guide, and get them in there, get some pulls in there, and let them learn physically, alright? Or if they're a visual learner, try and do something like this, right? After Vel, we're going to be on Square, right? Just like that video. After Vel 1, we're baiting it on top of Square here, okay? So you're going to be gating over, right? So just to give you a little input here, we're going to be starting a little bit up from Star, and we're going to be running into her. And then that way, when she bounces back, she's going to be jumping back to roughly this area, and then we'll be baiting, and then I will drop my Welling Arrow around here, around Skull, with my Zen Meditation, okay? I'll be making another video after this on how to play Brewmaster if it's your first time proccing the boss, or you're a new Brewmaster doing this, okay? So pretty much, I bait my Welling Arrow here, they come into the Sentinels, the range already bait, and the melee finish off the Sentinels, and now we're on top of Square, okay? So generally from there, we'll get chains from this position, and if you look at the picture here, right, we're perfectly lined up on Square, and we simply run out with the Windrush totems that there, and we run out to the left and right, and we just hit the chains, and the chains are further enough out, unlike Stanky's video, where sometimes the Veil lands on top of the chains, and then the melee can't hit them, and it screws their damage, and a lot of times you're just sitting there like, well, I'm going to hit my Veil, or they're not paying attention. This guy, the way it's worked, is the Veil, if you bait it correctly in far enough back of Square, she is going to land to where Veil barely hits the first chain. So you can hit, a melee can hit all the 4 other ones, okay? So generally that's the idea of this one, okay? So that's generally how it works. The Wailing Arrow, as you can see, is going to be coming out in a perfectly straight pattern here, so you can go ahead and just smack the living daylights out of these, okay? And you pretty much rop them and Ring of Frost them. So that's, as Sentinels are coming in, we simply just drop the Ring of Frost, DPS them down, as well as what they rop, okay? And just make sure your raid team doesn't panic or anything like that. Alright? So generally, this is the setup here. Once you're right here on Square, after you do all your baits, you kill your Sentinels when they run out to Orange, very simple stuff like that. Your DPS here on Square after you kill those Sentinels, and you're getting ready to bait. Usually around here, she's at 85%, roughly, and you have range, go ahead and gate over to Diamond, alright? And then they're going to run their Wailing Arrows to Skull. Pretty much you're going across the room every time. Very simple to understand. At that point, she's going to jump during intermission, and she's going to land roughly right around here on Star. Okay? And then you're going to be DPSing, do all your kind of shit, all that kind of stuff. And then she's going to pretty much pop your chains. You're going to stack up on Star here for the chain mechanic when all the chains come out at the end of phase 1. And you're all going to get chains. You pretty much pop down your healer cooldowns right there. As you can see, this picture right here, you just pop all your cooldowns here, and I'll pull up a video real quick. I'll pull it up too, so you guys can watch it live real quick, just what it looks like. Let's get over to it real quick. Sorry, I didn't have this set up prior. I had everything else but this. Here it is. Mythic Sylvanas. Alright, let me mute. Sorry for the messy UI. So here she is. She's landing her Veil on top of Star. As you can see, we bait it. From here, we're going to run back right into Star here. Alright? We run into Star right here. We're just going to pop our healer cooldowns. At this point, also, I noticed this thing in video doesn't cover this. You want your healers to be in the back left. You want to call it as a raid leader. You want to say healers back left, back right. Wherever it's at, okay? So that way, your healers take priority. As you can see here, our healers right here, and you can see the names pop up. And we simply blast these down. We just blast these down. We have a Demon Hunter over here blasting with us, okay? We're just blasting. Boom, 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 boom. And there it is. And then we just live. And on top of that, we also throw down an APT totem in the middle. You can see here my buff bar, APT. The reason we throw down an APT totem here is in case someone makes a mistake, right? Someone gets hit, someone goofs off, they're paying attention, or they DC. They'll get hit by Rive. Boom, they can take the APT totem. Is it huge? It's huge if you have an Arsham, okay? Please have both your Arshams run on totem. If your guild's uncomfortable with the fight, it will give you more pulls into the fight, okay? And here's kind of how the DPS cooldowns work for the chains. We pretty much have the arrow, resonant arrow, and the wild spirits going off. And here's a list of names who's blasting what, okay? So you guys can kind of see we worked it out. Obviously, when we get more pulls in there, this stuff kind of became natural. We didn't have to have it on the ERT note, right? Phase 2, this is how we kind of split the group. Essentially, what I did was we split. We had a Demon Hunter on east side to get the buff, and then we had a Hunter to clean up the ads, and we had a Monk on east side to make sure the buffs go on east side. When we got to the split, we swapped. We had a Juker go right because we had a new rogue come in, and we had the rogue go to the left side, you know, when it splits off to the big ad. So we made that split. And here's the healer CDs for phase 2. Essentially on the 3 split, we pretty much pop everything to live that. And then generally that's how it works. All right, let me get to phase 2 so I can show you guys what phase 2 looks like. Essentially just dodge your stuff, play the game that you normally play, you kill the orbs. All that stuff. If you do need the weak auras or anything like that, you're more than welcome to hit me up on Discord or in my Twitch, and I'm more than willing to log on and just send you the weak auras that we use for this fight. I know we used echoes, a lot of the echo pack, and we used a lot of the pack from some other, it wasn't Echoes Guild, but something else. So essentially we gate here, right? We bait out the Vel. I would count 3, 2, 1 now gate, right? Phase 2 is very easy, guys. There's not much to explain for this one. It's just, you know, drop your healer cooldowns, play the best you can, don't get hit by stuff, right? And then just apply your, that's going to be up to you to where to apply your DPS cooldowns in its certain spots. That's up to you. And how you want to split your group, alright? I don't know your guys' DPS. Make sure right here you get your global off, okay? That's imperative. And then right here, right? For phase 3, phase 3 here, actually phase 3 here is gonna be up to you and how comfortable your tanks are. So for me, I knew my other co-tank, he's very immovable. He's more focused on like just dishing out the extra damage that we need. So I knew I would take the puddles on one of the fastest tanks, and I know I might take the arrows every single time. So that's just up to you between your 2 tanks, whoever you kind of want to take that duty, right? But this is, I'll more cover all this like individual stuff and how I played when I do my Brewmaster guide. I'm just doing overall guide here. All right, so here's phase 3. Let me go into the phase 3 point. I assign positions for everyone for phase 3. Make sure you do this, raid leaders and GMs. If you do not do this, I guarantee you, you're going to die a lot by people running to each other, clip each other with Veil, people goofing around, people forget their spots, and it's just going to become a huge disaster. So please make sure you have spots where your players are going to be playing at, okay? Right? And then pretty much I go into every single thing that's coming out. Hey, Blazing, if I'm calling over myself, who's collecting what? On the right side, we do send an Arsham. I know a lot of guys it's not covered. We do send an Arsham if you have one. Preferably send a Necrolord Arsham. They're going to pop their Necrolord shield as soon as they hit platform. the first platform, phase 3, they're going to click Ghost Wolf instantly to get their 3 stacks up of their spiritual, their Ghost Wolf debuff. I mean, their defensive DR going. And then they're going to run, collect all the puddles. As they're coming back from the platform, they're going to go ahead and click their Ancestral Shift to get their more DR, and then they're going to dispel themselves, okay? And if they do die, like, it's just bad, they die when they first land on platform 1, they can go ahead and onk if they have it up, if it is, like, they haven't died that whole pull, right? So that's generally what you... Generally, you want no one to die when you're coming up to this spot, okay? Alright, so as soon as you get here, we pretty much lay it out. You guys can go through the picture as you're going. Right here, we're pretty much DPSing like it says down to 0.4. Alright, little thing to explain here. How it's going to be working for... Where's it at? Let me show you guys. And also, here we go. Here's pretty much who's soaking what, right? So you guys can go ahead and, you know, look at all this stuff. This is all your dispels. I'm trying to get to soak so I can show you guys. This is Kyrian platform 3. I think it's right here. Yeah, here it is. Alright. So essentially what this is showing for the last arrow, I know a lot of guys don't cover this. For the last arrow, this is arrow 3. So you have a list of names if you're a raid leader. Arrow 3, you want to tell them they want to stay on the knife 8 platform with number 2 guy. When number 2 guy jumps to Kyrian platform, number 3 guy is going to jump with him at the same time and quickly jump over to Vinthier. Instantly, quickly. And he's going to pop his own DR, health stone, and healing pot to stay alive there. And that way, it's going to hit Vinthier platform and deal like pretty much no damage to the raid team. Because at this point, you have soaks, Veil coming out, just there's a lot of damage coming out on the knife 8 platform here, and your 3rd guy going all the way out instead of Kyrian is going to give you, it's going to save your healers a lot of mana, especially if it's the first time you're pulling this boss and stressing you out, okay? Then immunities, everything else is pretty basic, right? Warlock Gaze, you guys can scroll through this pretty much however you want, but generally what I wanted to get at here is pretty much phase 1. That's the biggest problem that I think a lot of guilds are facing right now, is just getting through phase 1. A lot of guilds are disbanding on this because they're stuck looking at one guide. So generally, if it's the only thing you take from this video, if it's not the PowerPoint or not little brief thing I did, please, raid leaders and GMs, do your research. Look at multiple guides, look at multiple videos. Please understand the fight mechanics, what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and then adjust. Do not pick one guide and fully run off of it the whole time. You will cause your guild to disband if you do that, right? Do your own research, understand how the game works, and get in there and get your cutting edge. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and like I said, please do your own research. Hope you guys liked it. I will be releasing a Brewmaster guide individually that will be super in-depth. Every single thing I did to survive, and everything that I did, like, to work around a prop paladin, or a tank that's like not comfortable taking arrows or falls over, something like that. I will do an in-depth guide on how to work around that stuff and to make it easier for your co-tank if something's going on or they're struggling with mechanics, okay? So, thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to be it. Hopefully it wasn't too long for you guys. Take care. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out.